Welcome to the Copper King Mine Railroad. Today we're going back in time. Ore was discovered in 1863, and to get the ore out of the mines, you had to use horses. So this is the horse and buggy era at Bingham Canyon Mine. Have a lot of great pictures of them using horses and mule up there. So stay tuned. Horses and mule at Bingham Canyon. Ore was discovered at Bingham in 1863. This was the horse and buggy era, so the first ores were moved by horse and wagons. With the coming of the trains to the state in 1869 by way of Promontory, then to Bingham Canyon in 1873 with the Bingham Canyon and Campfire Railroad, this is when the many underground mines started to thrive. So let's show you some great pictures of Bingham when the horse and mules ruled the day. There's some great old pictures of all these horses that they had up there. It is claimed that the period from 1880 to 1890, there were more than 1,000 horses and mules in the canyon. They used them in the mines, they used them to haul ore down to the trains, and they used them to pull these rail tramways. We'll show you some pictures of those. And then for general transportation up the canyon. Now, when the trains did come to Bingham, it's just stopped short of the town, and it was a place called Frogtown. From here, you had to be on your own to get up the canyon. So that's where most of the horses and buggies and things are waiting for the train. Here's a picture of the depot here in Frogtown, and the train's coming in. See all the horses and buggies and wagons all lined up to take the people up the canyon. This is where all the big terminals of the aerial trams, they had 4 of them in the canyons at one time, came down and met up with the trains. But before that, they had this horse and mules were used for this rail tramway that brought the ore down from the Seat Mountain to the train station. Now, the men just sat on these ore cars, and it was gravity brought them down, these steep grades, and they operated a handbrake, and that's all they had is a handbrake on each of the cars to control their speed down. And then horses and mule teams took the ore cars back up to the mines. When open cut mining started in 1906, Utah Copper and Boston Consolidated Copper both contracted with Denver Rio Grande to haul their ore out to the mills out in Magna. So from 1906 to 1907, Denver Rio Grande built this route out to the mill. And it was called the low grade line, and some people call it the high line also. And now they used a lot of horses for the grading and the different things to build this rail line. George Edward Anderson took many pictures of this and documented this building of this line. We have some great pictures of them working on this with all these horses. Look at all these horses they're using. I don't know what they're dragging behind, some kind of heavy object to dig through that material right there. Just think it's really interesting to see how they used to do things. Look at these horses up on this steep grade up here. They're making this cut along this mountainside. Wow, that's really interesting. Then when you have horses and mule, you have to have all the support groups that comes with them. Like you have to have stables and corrals and blacksmith and hay cells. Here's some Stanborn Fire Insurance maps of the area in 1890. You can see they have corrals and stables, and this key for the map has its own markings for a stable. Michael Ann Scroggin shared her pictures of her grandfather, Ross Marriott, and his brother, Albert. They had a blacksmith shop up in Bingham. So here's some pictures of that blacksmith shop. And this is a 1913 receipt from that shop even. We have that, and that's from the Larry Sachs collection. So I thought that was really interesting. Some inside pictures of that blacksmith shop. Then here's some other blacksmith shops around Bingham. There was a lot of them. They had to be if they had 1,000 horses. Then we have some pictures of the tools they use. Look at all these different tools for this blacksmithing. Wow. Then we'll just take a look around Bingham. Look at some of the work that these horses did around the mine. This right here they're pulling like some kind of tanker wagon. And then in the background, you can see it says the ore haulers right there. And here's a horse buggy up in Highland Boy. And then this picture right here is actually at the mine. You see the horse pulling some ore cars up in the mine. Here's another one. Oh, here's the Dry Fork Dairy bringing milk. And look at this one. This is a stagecoach coming right up. I think that's up in Carfork. Here's a horse and wagon coming down the canyon right next to the Bingham Mercantile store. That's kind of interesting. Here's the 1906 picture, and the horses are in their corral. But up on the mountainside, there's a wreck up there, a train wreck. I think that's on the Copper Belt Railroad up there. And just more wagons by their mills and the mine areas. Now look at this grand picture right here. It's looking up Main Street and all the horses and all the people and how busy this area was right here. And then this picture looks like they're constructing some kind of bridge across one of the gulches or canyons. And some wintertime scenes and pulling sleds. Look at this guy, he looks like he has to pose with his horse. He's got his horse in the picture right here. I think that's kind of neat. And this guy, he's riding a barrel. I don't know what that's about. I thought that was pretty neat also. Some more wintertime pictures. Oh, look at this one. This is mud coming down right from the Bingham Mercantile store right there. Here's a little wagon right here waiting at the vertical tram what came down out of B&G Yard, and it's waiting to take the people where they need to go. Then just more pictures of them around the canyon. This one says he's delivering groceries out of the back of his wagon. Then more floods up in Carfork. Now this picture right here was a later picture of when they got horses, but that was in the Galena Day parade, and so they were still celebrating that. Now, I don't know about this picture. Looks like there's a horse laying out in the middle of the road in that picture right there. I thought that was kind of crazy. Then also this picture has a cow right in the middle of the road. I don't know what he's trying to eat right there. And then this picture right here shows an old water wagon or water truck, some kind, and the horses are pulling it. It says it's a Studebaker water wagon right there. And just more horse and buggy and horse and wagons and doing the work they used to do around the mines. This one right here is the 1912 train wreck on the Copper Belt Railroad. We had a video on that, and the Shea motor came down, crashed through some buildings, killed some people and stuff, and now they're trying to pull that motor, that big engine, out of the way. And look at the teams of horses they've got trying to pull that heavy equipment out of the way. So that was pretty interesting. Then these last pictures are from when the cars started coming. You see the cars and horse and wagon still on the same roads. Thought that was interesting. All these pictures, and the cars are starting to take over, and it's starting to be more than the horse and buggies. Then one more interesting fact about horses in the canyon is Bingham was one of the last places in the country to have mail delivered on horseback. This picture was taken in the 40s, and they're still delivering mail on horseback. So that's the horse and mules at Bingham Canyon Mine.